My soon-to-be ex-wife Leah, 26F, and I, 28M, had been married for 6 months after dating for 2 years. I spoke with a lawyer a few days ago and filed for divorce because she sold the wedding ring I proposed to her with. It was a rather expensive ring with a platinum band set with diamonds, and it had been in my family for 3 generations. It was a major deal to me, and she understood I wanted to keep it in the family as an heirloom. I asked her about her lost ring last week. She casually informed me that she had sold it to fund a few luxury goods because the ring was outdated and not her style. She spent the money on fancy purses and jewelry. She acted as if it was no big issue when she told me about it, but I immediately freaked out because my mother and grandmother are still alive and would be quite unhappy if they found out. I told her she needed to return everything and buy the ring back since it was supposed to stay in the family. She was aware of this, and I couldn't comprehend how she could have made such a big error. But she explained that it was not a mistake, she had done it on purpose. She knew I'd lose my head, so she prepared her defense. Apparently, she had disliked the ring from the day I proposed but had not said anything because it belonged to our family. However, now that we were married, she claimed it was technically hers, and she could do whatever she wanted with it. That was her rationale, and she believed it was sound logic. We had a huge quarrel, screaming at each other like never before. I assured her I was willing to do whatever it took to get the ring back. She informed me that she was not returning anything, and that if I wanted the ring back, I would have to buy it back from the buyer myself. I was so unhappy that I packed a tiny bag and drove to a suburban hotel where I'm currently staying. She didn't try to stop me, and she didn't even look up as I left. Since then, she has not attempted to contact me. I waited 2 days for her to get back to me. When she didn't respond, I contacted my pals who recommended a decent divorce attorney. On the 3rd day, after consulting with the lawyer, I blocked her everywhere. Yesterday, I signed the divorce papers and returned home. Throughout the day, I skipped work so I could go home when she wasn't around. I went inside, placed the divorce papers on the coffee table, and began sorting through my belongings. Fortunately, a few friends were willing to help me. They assisted in carrying the heavier and larger items, which are being stored at their homes until I find another place to live. By the time I finished, everything that belonged to me had vanished, and there was no sign of me left. Then I returned to the motel. When Leah returned home from work after 6 p.m., her parents began calling me. They texted me that I couldn't do this, that I should only talk to her once, and that I needed to unblock her because this was petty. They claimed that I could not simply end our marriage over anything like this. I didn't care. I blocked them as well. That's when she dispatched her companions after me. They started calling me unreasonable, petty, and egoistic. Then they told me that shortly after I left, Leah had contacted the jeweler she sold the ring to and was in the process of purchasing it back since she felt awful. But according to them, I hadn't even given her enough time to repair it, so they started portraying me as the evil guy. Now I think I may have overreacted, and I've been feeling strange since last evening. Am I incorrect to file for divorce since my wife sold the wedding ring that had been in my family for generations? Edit. My family has no idea what is going on right now. I don't want them to worry, so I haven't told them anything. My maternal grandmother is pretty elderly. She was the original owner of the ring when my grandfather proposed to her with it. I don't want to risk giving her a heart attack, which she would undoubtedly have if she discovered that Leah sold the ring. The ring is really important to my family. I've been chatting with the jeweler Leah sold it to for the past 3 days. She had given me his contact information while we were fighting, telling me that if I really wanted the ring back, I could go buy it myself. However, I have yet to be able to get it back because the jeweler is asking for considerably more than he paid Leah for it. I'm currently negotiating with him. I also asked if Leah was trying to repurchase the ring, and he verified that she was. He told me he'd sell it to whoever had the money first. Meanwhile, if another client offered a higher price than the one he quoted us, he would sell it to them instead. So I need to move quickly because the ring is on display at his store, and he doesn't take reservations. If someone offers greater money, he will sell to them. It's been frustrating dealing with him, but at the end of the day, he's a businessman, so I can't hold it against him. After all, Leah sold him the ring, and he paid a nice price for it. It's all fair game to him. I'm just crossing my fingers that I can get the money together as quickly as possible. Maybe he'll drop the price he's quoted, and I'll be able to buy it back. Only then will I tell my family what's been going on. Otherwise, things will become very messy, and I do not want them to panic. Update 1. It has been 4 days since my first post here. Thank you to everyone who left comments on my post. It was tremendously reassuring to know that I was doing the correct thing after greatly doubting myself. Her pals definitely got inside my thoughts. They went out of their way to make me a villain, but I didn't take it personally. I blocked all of her friends and family members. I don't want to interact with any of them. Because of what's happened in the last few days, it's really been playing with my mind. Leah and I have been together for a few years, and I never anticipated this would happen. She's always been a bit materialistic, which I've had to tolerate, but I never expected her to go this far. What threw me off was how she acted as if she had done nothing wrong. It's not as if we haven't fought before. We have, just like every other couple, but this one was different. I saw an entirely different side to her, which is why I chose to get divorced. If she believed she could treat me the same way after only 6 months of marriage, she was mistaken. She can't walk all over me and expect me to stay. The ring may seem insignificant to some, but it means a lot to me and my family. It is not as if she was unaware of this. I indicated in my initial post that she was well aware that I intended to keep the ring as a family treasure. You don't just sell a family heirloom and then pretend everything is good because legally you now own it. I wish I could convey all of this to her family and friends who are so determined to portray me as the evil person, but frankly, I don't think it's worth the hassle. Leah hasn't even tried to contact me, which is unusual given how desperate she is. I know she has a burner account on social media which I haven't disabled, but she hasn't sent me any messages from it. So I guess she isn't really trying to get back to me. Instead, she's trying to make me feel horrible about filing for divorce. At least that's how it appears right now. Regarding the ring, I've contacted the jeweler. He informed me that Leah had not responded to his messages in the past 2 days. Maybe she has backed off. I'm not sure what's going on with her, but I told him I was happy to buy the ring back at the price he was offering because at this point, I am just anxious to have it back, no matter what. He agreed, and I'm going to his store tomorrow to send him a check and get my ring returned. Once I have it, I'll finally tell my family about what's been going on with me and Leah since I believe it's time. They still have no idea, and my mother has been questioning why neither of us has been home and why Leah has not returned her calls. I wasn't aware that Leah had also moved out. I guess she's staying with her parents or friends. It does not matter. But I guess this is finally over because moving out of the house appears to be the final step. I anticipate hearing from her lawyer within the next several days, and then we can proceed with the divorce. I have a gut sense she will not contest it, and I sincerely hope she does not. I believe I was fair in my divorce settlement, so she shouldn't feel the need to ask for anything further. I will find out soon enough. For the time being, I'm simply hoping that everything goes well for me. I've already spent a lot of money to get the ring back. I don't want to spend another amount on a lawyer to battle a long, drawn-out divorce. I just hope everything goes smoothly from now on. Update 2. I eventually went to the jeweler's store today, paid him, and got the ring back. The guy seemed quite interested in my condition. He was quite talkative and had a tendency to gossip. He explained to me that he had never been in a situation like this before and found it fascinating. Then he stated something that truly piqued my interest. Leah had unexpectedly blocked him. That surprised me, given that her friends had insisted she was distraught by our argument and was sincerely attempting to reclaim the ring. But I believe as soon as she saw I wasn't coming back, she gave up. It was all for show after all. She doesn't care about the ring or repairing things. All she cares about is looking like the victim. This only validates what I previously believed, so I'm not surprised. After visiting the jeweler, I decided to speak with my family and remove the band-aid. I was sick of keeping things from them, and now that I had the ring, they wouldn't have to worry about that. I drove to my mother's house, sat my parents down, called my grandmother on FaceTime, and recounted the entire issue to them. Everyone was surprised that Leah had done anything like this. She always came across as a nice person, and no one anticipated her to pull off something like this. My grandmother was relieved that I was able to reclaim the ring, but she also remarked something that resonated with me. It wasn't right that I had to purchase my own ring back. She suggested that during the divorce, I make Leah pay for it. I told her I will think about it, but I know it won't happen. It would simply lead to a long war and countless negotiations, which is the last thing I want. These things can stretch on for months, and I don't have the time or money to continue squandering on lawyers. I didn't say it to my grandmother, but there isn't much I can do in situations like these other than confess defeat. It seems horrible, but it's actually the more practical thing to do. We had no written agreement regarding the ring, so proving anything in court would be tough. Social conventions and family customs are not legally binding. Unless I had the best lawyers in town, pursuing her legally would be worthless. My parents understood this, therefore they did not pursue the matter further. After we ended the FaceTime session with my grandmother, my parents expressed their disappointment with how things turned out with Leah. They had developed a strong liking for her. They have never had an issue with her before. She had always been an excellent daughter-in-law, and when we married, my parents were the happiest they had been. Leah blended right in with our family like the missing piece of a puzzle, and now, less than a year into our marriage, we were getting divorced. I ended up weeping while they were speaking to me. They had to console me since, up until now, I had not allowed myself to cry or properly express my emotions. But today, I couldn't keep back. Hearing my parents talk about Leah and how unhappy they were about the situation only made me feel worse about all I was going through. And they were correct. We were already divorcing after only a year of marriage. I never envisioned something like this happening just a few months, let alone a few weeks, ago. But now it is occurring, and there is little I can do about it. The toughest part is that I know Leah believes she did nothing wrong. That's why she sent her family and friends after me to guilt-trip me into returning. The whole event with the jeweler was purely for show. She wanted to appear upset, but the truth is that she probably wasn't. She doesn't comprehend how important this was to me. She believes I'm overreacting, and that's the worst part. But after speaking with my parents today, I felt lighter. It felt like a great weight had been lifted off my chest. They told me they were proud of me for sticking up for myself and my family, for refusing to let anyone walk all over me, even if I love that person. That's all the reassurance I need. At the very least, my parents believe I am doing the right thing and am not overreacting. Whatever hurts me, harms me. I can't change that. And if Leah doesn't care that she harmed me, maybe we should end this marriage while we still can. Now I'm just waiting for her response to my divorce filing. I sincerely hope she does not contest anything because it is the last thing I need right now. She's already brought me enough difficulty. I don't want any more. Update 3. It's been a few days since my last update, and I've been busy. I had missed a few days of work, so I had to make up for lost time, including working overtime. Given my existing circumstances, I couldn't afford to upset my bosses. Instead of relaxing, I spent my free time hunting for an apartment close to my employment. Staying at a hotel was no longer practical. Thankfully, I was able to find a place with a fair rent, and I'll be moving in next week. Naturally, dealing with the practical issues of my life kept me extremely busy, so I didn't have much time to reflect about Leah and everything that had gone wrong. In some ways, it served as a good distraction. But then she called me last evening. It was from an unfamiliar number, so I picked it up intuitively. When I heard her voice on the other end, I stopped. I wasn't sure whether to stay on the line or hang up, so I just remained silent. She did not apologize. She did not even admit what she had done. Instead, she stated that she wanted to speak with me one final time, despite the fact that she admitted she had no authority to do so. She stated she wanted to meet with me in person to give over the signed divorce papers and have one final talk to clear things up. Even when I didn't react, she simply said she'd be waiting at home in the afternoon. Then she hung up. For the rest of the evening, I was unsure what to do, but this morning I decided to finally head over. Even if I didn't want to talk to her, I figured it was a good idea to get the divorce papers in person. Part of me was curious about what she needed to clear up with me, so I went home. By then, the place had mostly been emptied out. Only the furniture remained, but since the house had already been equipped, it was evident that it would stay. We were planning to end the lease at the end of the month anyway. She gave me a check in addition to the papers. I was perplexed, but then I saw the amount. It was quite considerable. She explained that she had returned everything she had purchased with the proceeds from the sale of the ring. She decided that because we were no longer going to be together, it would be best to return the money. It was a few thousand less than what I had paid the jeweler to buy back my ring. I told her, and she said that whatever amount I had to pay, she would pay the balance in payments over the next few months. She could only afford to offer me this right now. I was fine with that because, honestly, I received some of it back, whereas I had anticipated losing whatever I had spent on the ring. It was a little odd, but I thanked her. She finally apologized. She was already in tears, telling me that she had never planned for things to go so wrong, but it was plainly too late to remedy anything, so perhaps it was best if we just let each other go. I didn't know what to reply, so I remained there awkwardly silent as she continued chatting. She informed me she'd been feeling terrible about everything for the past few weeks, ever since I left home. Even though her family and friends supported her, she couldn't believe she had done the right thing or that I had overreacted. Somewhere deep down, she knew I was correct and that she had made a tremendous mistake. She told me that she had wanted to contact me several times before, but since I had already blocked her, She was scared that if she did, I would reject her, which she couldn't bear. So she just stayed away. She also stated that she knew I deserved better, thus she felt it was right for us to divorce. Despite the fact that she was crying, she managed to finish her speech. Then she left without waiting for an answer from me. I was in shock, so I stood in the living room for a few minutes after she departed. Then I sat on the couch, attempting to make sense of everything. I started crying about a half hour after hearing her car pull away. Then I finally left and returned to the motel. I'm going to the bank tomorrow to cash the check. I've already spoken with my lawyer about the papers, and since there's nothing else to discuss, we'll just have to wait for the waiting time to end. Then we will be officially divorced. I expected this to feel much better than it does now, but I suppose with time I'll move on. For the time being, however, it hurts, and I'm going to let it hurt because there isn't much else I can do. Update 4. I cashed the check today at the bank, and for some reason, it felt incredibly liberating. Leah and I haven't spoken in a few days since our last interaction at the house, and I believe I'm finally letting go. Holding on to all of my anger and hurt will do me no good. I just want to forget about that whole situation and get on with my life. I had already moved out of the hotel and into my new apartment. Thanks to my pals, I was able to get everything set up rather quickly. I am so grateful to have such supportive friends. They've been checking in on me as often as they can. I'm also grateful to my parents, who have been there for me emotionally. I don't think I would have been able to deal with this as well as I am now if it hadn't been for them. And it's not as if I don't miss Leah or regret what has occurred. Of course I do, but I can't let it get in the way of my life since the world won't stop for me to digest my emotions. I am still going to have to work. I'll still have to keep up with the bills and everything else. I'll still have to do everything I'm supposed to do to stay up. I needed the emotional support I've received from everyone, so I'm grateful that I have such a strong support system. In a few weeks, my divorce will be final. After that, I'll be done with legal matters. I'm thinking about going on a vacation or doing something exciting and unplanned to take my mind off things because I believe I need a change of pace right now. I've spoken with a few pals, and they seem enthused about the prospect of traveling together. Perhaps I will take them up on that. Leah and I are no longer together, as evidenced by her social media post. I don't use social media much, so I didn't post anything or make any announcements, but she did. Many of our mutual acquaintances contacted me. Some simply wanted to assure me that things will improve, while others only wanted to gossip, but at least everyone knows now, so I don't have to explain anything. For that, I am grateful. That being said, I'm looking forward to moving on. Update 5. Hello, everyone. My divorce was finalized earlier this week. Leah contacted me again from the same number she had used before to apologize. Instead of remaining mute, I told her that I wish things could have worked out with us, but that is how it is. I wished her only the best for the future. She thanked me and then hung up, and that was all. It hurts, but I suppose this is the closest we'll get to having any form of closure. Now I'm actively attempting to move forward with my life. As I indicated in my previous update, I'm set to embark on a trip with a couple of my friends in a few days, which I'm very happy about. I've been looking forward to this for weeks, and it's finally happening. It actually feels like I'm beginning a new chapter in my life, which is very thrilling. Of course, I'm not totally done with the chapter I've left behind, but I can't go back. The only way to proceed is forward, and I'm hoping this tour performs its job successfully. That being said, I don't anticipate blogging here anytime soon, so I'd like to thank everyone who has commented on my posts, supported me, and even reached out to me. It's very wonderful of you. The fact that you are all strangers to me and still care about my situation is extremely amazing. So thank you. I mean it. Thank you.